Welcome to Channel Partner Training for Solutions. This training is intended for those that have a strong network in our target markets that would like to add value and an incremental transactional revenue stream to your business. If you're watching this, it's because we think that you fit that bill. Thanks for joining us. Here's a short video about the benefits of being a channel partner for Solutions. We have structured this presentation in a way that you can listen to it all together. It will take about 2 hours if you do it that way, or you can simply parachute into each of these sections. I'll be giving you a copy of this presentation that you can simply click on it and listen to it as you watch that section. This training is broken down into 3 modules. The first is about the company, the second is about our core product, the Smart Trip Planning Tools, and then the third is about our smart tools for sales and marketing. Let me tell you a little bit about the company. My name is Chickie Fitzgerald, and I'm the founder of Solutions. I'm the CEO of the company, and I'm also a strategist, an author, and a radio show host. You can learn more about me on chickiefitzgerald.com. Solutions was originally founded in 1996 and is based in Tampa, Florida. We built the patent-pending Trip Proximity platform in 2017 and rolled it out to beta test in 2018. Tech companies and nonprofits hire us to add a new resource for their system, website, or Facebook page that adds incremental transactional revenues and donations while they sleep. Our mantra as a company describes the intersection of doing things smarter and giving back. We have 3 different ways that we help our clients grow and increase engagement. First is through our consulting services. We approach everything through a consulting lens using our deep experience in the consulting field. Second is through helping them explore the use of communities to get their network more deeply engaged. We've realized that our world isn't just about content anymore. It really is about relationship. And then lastly, we apply our innovative Smart Trip tools and our other smart marketing tools to our clients. We enjoy support from a wide range of investors and advisors, and these can be found on the Solutions website under the Our Village section. Our core partners for the business are Google on the Google Maps and Google Places side, which supports the capability in our trip proximity tool. Finding things nearby is dependent on that function. B1G1 is foundational to the giving piece of our system and helping our clients find material ways to give back for each trip that is taken. And then also Priceline Partner Network. We use their Booking.com, Agoda.com, and Priceline.com inventory. Although I will mention that we built the product to be independent of that platform. So if we wanted to switch to another inventory source, we would be able to do that. Since our formation, we have traditionally served the travel and events industries, giving us more than 25 years of deep experience on marrying buyers and sellers, both online and offline. On the strategy side of the business, we've also provided services to the investment community, financial services, the insurance industry, and also other tech businesses. As a tech company, we serve purpose-driven companies and nonprofits. Since our business is deeply impacted by the health of the travel and events industries, we're going to take a look at the current state of affairs in those industries. Vacation and managed corporate travel and events only represents about 20% of the market. It's a very crowded marketplace, and those are the parts of the industry that we do not serve. The balance of business trips and meetings are largely from smaller entrepreneurial firms that still have people in both sales and service roles on the road, albeit by car, which represents 89% of all overnight trips. The rest of the market that we serve is focused on what we call life travel. And while this has been stifled somewhat during the pandemic, there is a significant pent-up demand to travel. Prior to COVID-19, just 11% of all travel was by air and 89% by car. We suspect that the percentage of travel by car has increased beyond that number, and in fact, this Thanksgiving, although travel will be down about 10%, AAA has projected over 95% of all travel will be by car. And our product is perfectly suited for those driving to their destination, as well as those who fly. We have all seen how Zoom has taken the place of face-to-face meetings, one-on-one meetings, team meetings, and even conferences. As a result, for the corporate travel sector, travel and events have virtually stalled. But again, we do not focus on that market. The same has been true for discretionary travel such as vacations. But again, those pieces are not who we are intending to serve. Even though we aren't focused on managed corporate travel, business meetings for people that don't have to use a travel agency or a travel manager are still a target. We are encouraged that face-to-face will resume. Here is a result of a recent study about meetings. The way to get to this market is through the systems that these travelers use every day: CRM, calendaring, and contact management systems. Our current focus is to break through the limitations that 2020 has brought by leveraging innovation in both the tech side of things and in our business model. We have organized the training into 6 different sections. You can consume this training all at once or one section at a time. Please print out the outline and use it to keep track of your questions. Your success as a channel partner is about understanding what our offering is and how it fits into your network. What we can tell you out of the gate is that while we are a trip planning tool at heart, our clients aren't looking to add hotel booking capability to their offerings. So we have to back up a bit. Even though Dove manufactures soap as their core product, that isn't what they sell. They sell beauty. They aren't focused on the how, but on the result. Our focus is helping our clients grow. And to do that, we have to understand their business and how they presently engage their customers. When you are growing and your customers are engaged, you can have peace of mind. And that's what we sell. Those that visit our prospects have a pain point when traveling to visit or attending an event. Travel planning can be stressful and it's time consuming. So at its very simplest, we get more people to their destination with less friction. But that doesn't solve anything directly for our prospects. To help our clients grow and to get their clients more engaged, we use our trip planning tool known as Traveling to Give. There are many ways to customize its use to fit into our clients' individual situations. Our tool speaks for itself. We provide one-button search for available hotels nearby your company, your event, or your venue. And when we call on an account, we actually build the tool out prior to that call so they can see exactly how it would work for them. We have 3 types of Smart Trip tools. They all look alike on the surface, but the venue tool is for a specific place. The event tool is for a specific event on a specific date at a specific place. And then our Anywhere tool is for travel literally from anywhere to anywhere for any reason. Our Smart Trip tool can be configured in a number of ways to serve many different needs. The Visit Us tool can be used for organizations or venues for those visitors coming to see you. It can also be plugged in dynamically into enterprise systems and publishers to add trip planning to their content. And lastly, it can be used for events and even for fundraising. On the I'm Driving tab, the user can get the estimated driving time and driving directions, plus they can rent a car. And on the I'm Flying tab, they can buy an airline ticket. The optional map view allows the prospect to upgrade the mapping capabilities currently on their site to a smart map with the Visit Us capabilities built in. Our newest feature is known as Smart Content, and it consists of image-driven navigation that allows our clients to add in access to content about their company, their venue, or their event, or simply put links to other popular travel sites. We'll talk in the last training section about how to use this outside the trip planning application. The results displayed to the traveler can be done with our default Traveling to Give brand, or you may choose from one of our 20+ hotels nearby brands. It's also possible to upgrade to our private label solution. We'll cover pricing in the how much section of this training. It's important to know that because of our advisory service heritage, that we are much more than a tech provider. We take the time to understand our clients' business and we give them activation ideas, and also we help with the rollout. This includes providing FAQs, press releases, case studies, and also showcasing them as a game changer in our community. We provide custom marketing tiles for marketing campaigns, and we review their performance on a regular basis with ideas for improvement on engagement. Please make sure to write down your questions, and we can have an individual discussion one-on-one to make sure that you get all of the answers. So let's move on. Now that you have a good sense of what we sell, let's talk about who we sell to. When you look at all the ways that you can sell any product or service, the most efficient way is selling to one client that gets you many customers that touch many travelers. This is the B2B approach. Another way is to sell to one client that touches many consumers, the B2C approach. Our end game is to plug into the sites and systems that people use every day. As an incentive, our clients can earn a royalty plus a donation to their charity of choice, or they can choose our donation only model, which gives a greater amount to charity. More about that later. When you look at being an effective channel partner for solutions, it begins with looking at your network. We will help you with a crawl, walk, run strategy, beginning with learning the way with your friendly connections, pitching to lower value clients first, then expanding to bigger ones, and then on to enterprise. The 3 steps are finding friendly connections, telling your own story, and getting the clients to say, "Tell me more." No need to read this eye chart. Sufficient to say that we want a mix of clients that will diversify our revenues, also provide smooth cash flow, and reduce the reliance on a handful of large clients or a single industry. Our goal is to have the lowest cost of traveler acquisition with the broadest reach, hence the enterprise B2B strategy we just mentioned. We will be focusing on 3 different areas. 1 is the care category. 2nd is events. And 3rd are enterprise systems. Let me walk through the qualifiers for determining who is a prospect. In this case, sometimes it's easier to tell you who we do not serve. The first and the most important thing to think about is how much traffic do they have. In a normal travel site, if you have 100 people who come to the site, only 1 will book. And so it's really important to have enough daily traffic that there will be enough people who might need or want a hotel. Second is what I call adjacency. So you might look at a big site like Overstock and say, "Oh, I went to college with the new CEO of Overstock. I should talk to them." Well, there isn't anything adjacent about a bedspread or furniture to needing a hotel room. So that, while a great contact, really isn't one that is going to yield travel bookings. And so what we're looking for is where overnight travel is likely. We make 94% of our revenues from the sale of hotel rooms. The second revenue stream is car rental. And the last one, and actually the smallest, is airline. Airlines simply don't pay a healthy commission anymore. We are also looking for minimum seasonality. And what that means is you might have a great contact with a major event, but if it is September now and the event is happening in March, we won't be paid until at least April or May. So that won't be your fastest path to cash for your own personal goals, because we get paid when the person checks out of the hotel room, and you get paid when we get paid. So minimum seasonality throughout the year, something that's going to be more even, and even better if recurring trips are actually possible. This is one of the reasons that I love the enterprise software market so much, because once somebody starts using a product that's plugged into their CRM or their calendar, they'll use it for every trip. And so we don't have to worry about reaching them more than once. The next one might catch you by surprise. There aren't that many ugly sites still left out there, because people really have spent a lot of time working on the look and feel of their sites, but you'd be surprised. One of the first industries that we went into was the funeral home industry, and it was really a very, very dated look and feel. For some reason, they got stuck in the 70s. And so to show someone our product plugged into the death care market to begin with, and then to have the site be ugly, was something that just wasn't a good way to launch our company. So we actually pulled out of that particular client. Next is that they don't already have a hotel booking solution online. It is way easier to sell someone something they don't have at all, where there's a need, than to try to displace something that's already there. And for that reason, we don't go after anything in the travel industry. And we don't go after corporate travel. We don't go after people who have negotiated rates or block space with a hotel, which a lot of the really large events like Comic-Con and that type of thing, they have that in place already. We do not sell to travel agents or hotels. And again, we don't do managed corporate travel. There are a whole bunch of needs around that, expense management, policy compliance, and that's a very crowded space, and that's just not what we were built for. This pyramid will better help you understand our approach. I'm going to start with the care category, and I'm going to walk you through this same thing for each of our 3 major categories that we're going after, and then there are a couple of other categories that I want to talk about. So care is anything in hospital, hospice, assisted living, surgical centers, rehab, funeral, and even the prison industry, which, who knows, one of you may have some great contacts in the prison industry. So there are a couple of areas where, again, it would be logical if you knew someone at a major hospital. We are looking for recognizable names and brands, possibly with multiple locations, that would be good as a showcase. What this also helps us do is to more easily get into regional and national chains. The regional companies have a larger footprint, or they've got a brand like Johns Hopkins that they will loan their brand or license their brand out to a local hospital to use. Here in Florida, we've got BayCare. In the Northwest, they've got Providence Health Systems. So these organizations do have a larger footprint, and normally they will get their marching orders from the central organization, and they don't have distributed control. That's really important, because if they add it to the main platform, it gets rolled out to all the individual locations. Our goal is, of course, to get to the national and global brands. So anybody who already has that global or national footprint is a good entry point. The event category is next. This is a little bit of a complicated market because it isn't just one market. It's actually 4 different marketplaces. So individual events, this could be a single event or a venue that houses multiple events, or it could be an event planner or even an association that has events. So the best targets here are people who hold multi-day events, including training. So you'll see I've got Sandler Training on here. They're one of my targets. Venues are another one. People who have a Visit Us page on their venue site, and they've got a lot of people who come through, again, either for events or it's a destination in and of itself, like Kennedy Space Center. The last 2 are the most important because this gets us the broadest reach. Ticketing and registration platforms on a B2B basis are those platforms that get installed in venues. So if we got Pro Venue, we might get 500 individual venues that use their tool to ticket all of the events that come through those venues. Event aggregators and ticketing sites, you will be familiar with these because they are the B2C brands, Vivid Seats, StubHub. But there are many others that you may not think of. So we have got a database of about 500 companies in the event category that we're interested in going after. The pain point here is these folks have had an equally difficult 12 to 18 months with the pandemic. So they are going to be hungry for new revenue streams and getting back to face-to-face and facilitating that. So again, this covers sports, entertainment, charity, life events, personal passions, and also training. The next category is the B2C category, which are publishers and media companies. Now, these are great because they're scalable. Typically, it's super high margin business for us. And this would include content aggregators who list companies, venues, or events. It might also be companies that have a large number of articles or even photos and videos, because we can add trip planning into any photo or video that has a latitude or a longitude associated with that photo or video. Now, some of these are going to be niche focused, and these will have a shorter sales cycle. Often they're resource constrained, but usually they can move fast because they've got a CEO or a founder that also might be their tech lead person. So again, this could be companies that list events, like there's a company called Evency that we've looked at. Community brands, ministry brands, Zola on the wedding front, Napa Valley Vintners, which has a listing of all of the different wineries in Napa Valley. And then there are, of course, the whales. And these are the ones that we really want and would provide foundational revenue for us that would keep us from having to raise money, which would be terrific. But these have longer sales cycles. They're absolutely worth it, but they're going to take some real determination. Many of these are also content partners for us, so they could yield a couple of really great dimensions. So Yelp would be terrific to provide us local content information. Evite or any of the event sites would provide us the ability to integrate in event calendars into our system. The last one I want to focus on is the nonprofit market. And these, again, can be niche or regionally focused, small charities with a short sales cycle. But again, these are most often resource constrained. Sometimes they can still move fast because the top person could also be the lead tech person, or it might be as simple as plugging into their Facebook page or their website. And if they provide us with administrative access to those sites, we can do it for them. I have talked, for instance, to a couple of the individual Ronald McDonald House charities, so we could use them as a pilot using that regionally focused or locally focused approach, and then look for the national organization to buy in. Again, the national organizations have a longer sales cycle, more administration and layers, sometimes more systems barriers. But again, it's worth it if we can get in. We started talking to the American Cancer Society. We were going to pilot in their East Coast region, or the Northeast region, which is their largest region. But they had some challenges in that they were implementing a new Salesforce system. So we didn't get that done before the pandemic, but it's worth trying to go back to. So who's the right contact within the company? Well, that's the million-dollar question. So once you figure out which clients to go after, the next challenge is always understanding the best person within that organization to speak with. And I wish I could say that there's a cookie-cutter answer to this, but each company is going to vary depending on their size and the type of company. I can give you some insight, and I'm going to start with the investor piece. Quite often I will look at investors and look at their portfolio to see who of their companies that they've invested in could benefit from Trip Proximity or Traveling to Give. And then we ask who they can introduce us to in their portfolio. And that's a really great way for us to establish a relationship with an investor and have a success within one of their companies before we actually go back and ask them for investment. The CEO is actually, you might think that that would be the person that we would go to, but the problem is if the CEO says no, the answer is pretty much no. And quite often they've already got marching orders from their board and they can't think about things outside that brief. So instead, if I ever do go to the CEO, quite often I will go to the CEO's admin and ask her or him who they would recommend, that who would the CEO give this to, who is responsible for incremental transactional revenue opportunities. And I've had success on that front, finding the right person. So I would say, by and large, in a middle-sized organization to a large organization, we definitely want to be in the C-suite. So people who report to the CEO. Business development is a great place to start. The CFO, I think, actually could be a good intro, but only on clients that are going to produce significant financial return. And we've got a tool that can help you figure that out. We generally stay away from the head of product. Also, we stay away from sales because they don't usually have any say about what what direction the product takes. So sometimes chief marketing officer, if they've got somebody in charge of partnership, that's definitely where I would start. You can definitely go down to the VP level. And again, some organizations may be super flat and not even have any of the C titles. It may go straight from VP to CEO. But again, we stay away from product and go for business development, partnership, or marketing. We've already done a whole lot of the hard work on messaging. And as you look at the custom landing pages that we've already created for each of our target categories, you're going to see that the messaging has already been customized to that target. And then in the how section, you're also going to see some of the other tools that we use in selling the product. So on the Trip Proximity site, you're going to see the various kind of clients that we go after. And as you drill down into each of those, you will see the different messaging that we have for each of those. So the big question in your mind should be, why does someone need or want our tools? And, are we that killer application that people are looking for? So I'm going to give you a little hint here. The why still has nothing to do with trip planning or hotel booking capability, because that is so outside the realm of what they think about that we have to broaden that perspective before they'll even consider it. But a better place to start is, what is it that they're after? So if you talk to a housewife back in the 1950s, she would never, ever in a million years articulate that she wanted a microwave. What she wanted was more time with her family. Maybe she might think about wanting hot food fast, but that really wasn't even a possibility. So I'm not sure how she would have even conceived of that. So let's talk about why a company should care about our product. The people our prospects serve already travel to their destination. People come for an interview to a corporation, or board members go to a nonprofit to attend a board meeting. A fan would go see their favorite basketball team or go listen to a concert. But the people that we're trying to serve right now are leaving all of that to chance. And there are unintended consequences of that. And this is really what we want to make them aware of. So time is the number one thing. So if they aren't offering an easy way to get to them, then someone, I guarantee, is calling someone in their organization saying, where should I stay? Right? Where should I stay nearby is the question that our product answers. And, even putting that aside, the impact of when somebody arrives at a place, at a meeting, at an event, at a venue, and they arrive stressed or worse, late, it does impact you and your organization. And it also impacts the causes that you care about. So the fact that we give back for every single trip that is just being left to chance right now, they're leaving money on the table. And that's really the number 3, is that if the organization is big enough and there's enough travel to their events or to their venues, they're definitely leaving money on the table, and that might get their attention. So as we take a look at the value proposition for our product, again, think about the simplicity of our mantra. Smart meets heart. We give them a new source of donation for their favorite charity or foundation. So if we're dealing with a purpose-driven organization, guaranteed that's going to resonate with them. If we're dealing with a nonprofit, I know it will. The other thing is, if we're dealing with a tech company, marketplace differentiation and giving their customers a better experience matters. They do care about that. And if they're struggling financially for any reason, like as I mentioned, the event marketplace, revenue diversification, that matters too. Having transactional, recurring royalty revenue on top of their current subscription revenue or ticket sales gives them a way to expand their profitability without adding new customers. And the other thing is just easing their mind about integration or activation of our product. It's super light, hours, not days, weeks, or months. And that's probably the hardest thing to get across, because they're used to when there is added functionality that is a big development product. It's a big headache. That's why we don't want to go to the product people, because they're usually the ones that say no. So the traveler value proposition, this is actually the easiest one to get across, because almost everybody that you will talk to, they travel for a living or they have traveled for pleasure. Guaranteed, if you ask them to describe their last trip, there's going to be something that was a hassle. So our message is one of convenience, context, and confidence. So we provide one-button search for available hotels nearby your company, venue, or event. That's convenient for the traveler. The context is all about proximity. We make it easier to get there, whether by car or by plane, right? And we give them confidence that what is being booked is the best price available, particularly on hotels where we actually guarantee that based on published rates. One of the things I want to impress upon you is the importance of storytelling. I mentioned it earlier that you need to find a marketplace that you resonate with. So if you are a golfer, maybe you should go after some of the local golf courses. Or if you have a relationship with one of the places that you go to events regularly, go to that venue manager. Now, we have told some of these stories in video form, and I've got links to all 4 of these videos here on this slide, but storytelling itself is an important part of getting the prospect to realize our value. We also include this as case studies on each of the landing pages. It's an important part of selling the product. So again, if you have questions, please write them down and we will be happy to answer them for you in our community, and you should have already been invited to our community. So let's move on to the how. How do we sell the product? Our smart trip planning tools are incredibly flexible, and I liken it, strangely enough, to a jar of peanut butter. Peanut butter can be used for a lot of things. And if you are wanting to make peanut butter sandwiches, I don't want to be talking to you about cookies or making curried salmon with coconut milk and peanut sauce. But if you're getting ready to have a dinner party and you want something really unique and easy to make, curried salmon is one of my favorite dishes. So I can talk to you about how to use my peanut butter in that dish. So our product is just like that. We can fill many needs. Now that shouldn't throw you, because you don't have to think about all of those and talk about all of those to a particular target. You just need to understand what the target is trying to accomplish. So if I'm a golf course and I have tournaments and I have weddings, and maybe I also have anniversary parties and special parties that people who are members can utilize my facilities, then people are coming from out of town for those things. And so talking to them about that becomes super easy when you really understand it. So that's the use of our peanut butter in that case. Now, how do we sell the product? We actually have 3 levels within our product, and our entry level is completely free and free forever. There's no license fee, there's no long-term contract, there are no minimum bookings that you have to make. You can just use it whenever you want. So if you're someone who is hosting the family reunion this year, you can come in as a level 1 client. You don't pay us anything, and you get the benefit of using our tool. And you'll hear later we can host it even on our own site, so you don't have to do anything technically. Now, if you want to actually make money from our product, you need to be a level 2 account. Now, you can automatically become a level 2 account by producing at least 10 bookings. So the minute you have a level 1 account and you have done 10 bookings, you automatically get promoted to level 2. And so even if you're the individual who used it for something like a family reunion, you still can make money with the revenue share and donation model. So again, there's no long-term contract, but we do revenue share on all bookings past the first 10. That's payable quarterly, and then we do the donation to your charity of choice annually. Level 3 is for our enterprise clients, and this is done generally with our business development team. We do need to onboard them in a little bit different way than the self-service product. And we do have a $999 implementation fee, but if they will implement quickly, and we usually try to give them a guideline of maybe 2 weeks from the time that they say yes, we will waive that fee. We also have the ability to provide marketing support for them. Some of this on the level 3 level is negotiable, so don't get tied up in the pricing. We want to make it as easy as possible for them to say yes. So we do have 2 models. Anytime they're going to earn money from us, we can either have the royalty model plus donation, which is 10% of our revenues paid to them directly, and then 10% to their charity of choice annually. Or the donation model, 25% donation to their charity of choice, which we pay to the charity monthly. And then we double that for charities that benefit veterans or active duty service families. And then also for those who are working on eradicating human slavery. That is a new one that we have added. So for each major prospect, we currently customize the pitch online. So if the client is large enough, we will take the time to do an individual presentation for them. That will be able to be found online. And we have a way for you to look at some of the ones that we have done in the past. On each one of those landing pages for a specific client, at the top of each page is a powerful image. And you can grab that image, copy it into an email, and send a short personal note from you saying, hey, would you have time to talk about this? You don't have to give them all of the information. You're just wanting to get them to say, tell me more. Our support center makes it very easy to get started. And for an enterprise client, they're only having to go in, customize the tool on our portal, write a very short script to insert the variables from their system, and then install the widget snippet plus the script into their system. Again, normally this takes less than an hour. And so a CRM client, a calendaring client, customer information systems can get that done very, very quickly. And again, we have documents that help them figure out what kind of tool is best for them, whether they're a location, an event, or they're a nonprofit. So our support page online, which there's a link right in our portal for that, makes that super easy. Now, there are 3 different ways to use our tool. And again, I know we have lots of choices here, but this is what we do for them on the back end. This is not something that you have to become skilled in doing. We help them know whether to use our static tool, which is a stored address or stored information for an event, for a single location or event, or the dynamic tool, which is here on the right, where they're powering millions of pages, and with a single tool they can pass us data in real time, which is why we call it dynamic. We can also host the tool on our site for individuals, for customers, for projects, for family projects like a family reunion. And so for those who don't have a website or a blog, or they just want to have a list of their available tools and bookmark that for their team, we can handle that. So I want to talk a little bit about the success factors. I'm going to dive into each of these, but in order for you to be successful as a channel partner, the clients have to be the right size. If they're small, they give us a great site to point to say, here's how our product looks on a chiropractor site, but a chiropractor just isn't going to have enough out-of-town visitors to make it worthwhile. Now, there are other kinds of doctors that might, infertility clinics, eye surgeons, back surgeons. So, we'll help you through that. Right timing. Again, I'll get into that. The right end user, the right motivation for doing this, putting the right effort into this, and most important is the right placement. So let's talk about size and the propensity to travel. We talked about this a little bit when I talked about how we filter things. So traffic to the business, visitors to a website or visitors to a facility and event attendees are the metric that we use. So if it is an online business, traffic to their site, their unique monthly visitors are how we measure their volume. And also we take a look at the propensity for recurring trips, because the client will be much more successful if they have someone who encounters them once and then comes back and uses it again. And again, there are certain categories, like if we trip enable Ancestry.com, then every time you're researching family history, you're going to want to go take a trip to see the birthplace or the place where your great-great-grandfather served in the Second World War, right? And you're going to come over and over again. If you encounter us on a funeral home website, hopefully you're not going to have a lot of recurring trips with that funeral home. So you'll get the drift as you get into this. So the volume of bookings directly impacts our revenue. So number of visitors times the engagement of those visitors times the conversion rate. And conversion rate just means how many will actually buy at the time that they encounter our product. That will yield the number of bookings times the average daily room rate times our commission equals the output of the revenue that we get from each booking. And again, you're going to learn more about that when you learn how to use our tool. I want to talk about the right timing, because you really need to understand how our product is going to be accessed to understand the booking window, which a short booking window is actually really wonderful. So the funeral home industry is great for this. You hear the news, right? You talk to others about whether you're going to go to the funeral, perhaps your spouse or perhaps colleagues if it's a business friend that has passed away. You're then going to use the booking tool on, hopefully integrated right into the obituary once you decide to attend, and then you travel, and then we get paid after they check out of the hotel. So that compressed timeline is really important, because it means we get paid faster and so do you. But the bad news about that is if we are plugged into the obituary in the newspaper and the funeral home doesn't even publish it until after the funeral, then we've missed that window. So there isn't the time for actually planning travel to the service. Now, we've got some other answers for that, but that just gives you the most extreme example. The right end user, I cannot tell you, this one was one that we learned the hard way. So CRM, we knew we wanted to get into CRM. So imagine my delight when the first CRM that we get introduced to is GreenRope, and the guy who is the founder wrote the book CRM for Dummies in the Books for Dummies series. So Look2 is a voice in the CRM marketplace. But guess what? They are a CRM company, but most of their clients are using the product for the marketing automation components of CRM, which is email and tracking of web visits and tracking of phone calls being made. So if a CRM company isn't used by field sales or service teams who are calling face-to-face, there aren't going to be any bookings. So the site users must need or want to travel. Critical. The right motivation. And again, money isn't always the driver. Sometimes it's giving, sometimes it's innovation, sometimes it's just making the customer experience better. And you're going to find out ahead of time what is the driver for the prospect. And we've actually built a tool for this. It's not released yet, but we've built a tool that helps determine whether the client is customer-centric, which is they're driven by making the customer journey easier. Are they profit-centric? You'll see this a lot with publicly traded companies or companies that have an investment by a venture capital company or private equity. Some companies are just innovation-centric, and the best way to find that out is to look at their last 5 press releases and see what they talk about. So again, we'll help you with that. But we've done an awful lot of work on making sure that we are talking to companies with the right motivation. The right effort is key. This has to be their product. If they're treating this as our product and they're just making room for us, it will never be successful. So we need to be a partner in success with them. I cannot stress this one enough. The right placement, again, this is when we learned the hard way. I'd like you to think about boots for a minute, okay? Because if you are selling into a store that begins to carry these boots, but they put them in a storeroom under a blanket, they will never sell, right? No matter how great the boots are. Now, the digital equivalent to that is that companies and events make it nearly impossible today to find out how to get there. When you start looking at how this is done today, you'll see the amazing opportunity that there is for us. But again, you have to make them understand how hard they are making it for people to find them. We make that simple. So again, having the right placement is the difference between making money from this product and not making any money. So again, any questions, please write them down. We will have Q&A for each of these categories in our community. So if you have not yet been invited to the community, ping me and I'll make sure to invite you. And it's the Game Changer Network. Next, we're going to talk about the timing challenges and when. So I think you are all aware that we have had the year from hell, and this is something called a threat map. This is actually a tool that we make available to our clients on our concierge product. And at any moment in time, they can look up and see what problems are going on. You can see that this was actually from last summer when we had so much unrest. Here we've got Portland. COVID was everywhere. And, you know, if you look at it now, you're going to see a lot of COVID in Florida. We've got tons of wildfires going on in the country, even now. You'll see floods, you'll see all kinds of things on here. It is important to understand what's going on around our clients and how much their businesses are disrupted by these elements. So, as I mentioned, we make money off of hotel bookings, and we don't make money until the product is actually installed and visible. So if it is placed on a site and buried, like the storeroom under the blanket analogy, then it will never be used for bookings. We want to get it so it's visible and bookings are being generated on a regular basis. Now, remember, people aren't looking for our product. So this is a little bit like selling vitamins instead of painkillers. So if you've got a headache, you can prescribe a painkiller. But most people don't look for vitamins. Having said that, CVS and Walgreens would never have a vitamin aisle if there weren't a market for it. So there is a market for what we do. It's just often people are in the store looking for something else. Our second sales challenge is the internal socialization. So we might get someone on the phone who just says, this is a no-brainer. And the first year of the sales efforts where we were just trying to get our foundational clients, every single call I would hear those exact words to the point where it would almost make me laugh because it was so predictable. But where the breakdown occurred was the internal socialization. And so we did some work on our messaging and how we communicated or what tools we gave to our point of contact to socialize it internally. But this is where we need a full-time sales force and someone who really wants to make this their life's work to help us build this company. So even though you're here because you have agreed to be a channel partner, please be aware of the fact that we are looking for someone to work full-time, all the time, every day to help us build this company. There will be some added benefits if you come inside the company as a partner to help us do that. The next thing is the activation resource availability. As I've mentioned, we actually have the ability to help the client do the implementation. Now, that is not true on an enterprise client. We can't get in and make the changes to their application. But if it's a website, an event site, Facebook page, we absolutely can do that. They simply have to give us the right credentials. So again, we can talk to them about that. Probably the biggest one that you're going to run into in the early days is not enough volume of activity to produce meaningful financial results. As long as they're making it easier for one person who's showing up, they've done their job, and it didn't cost them anything anyway, and it only took minutes to install it. So it's always a benefit to put the product in. But of course, you're going to want to see financial results, and so are they. Follow-up, I would say, is the number one thing that you can do to make a difference. There's so many statistics on this of how many times you have to engage someone before they're really ready to say yes. So this training is not a sales training course. I mean, there are other people who are so much better at that than I am. So I will defer to them on helping you through how to best sell. So the next thing are the people challenges. And, this is true no matter what type of company you're talking to. So people are absolutely inundated with email and even LinkedIn messages. So if you have an opportunity to actually pick up the phone, I highly recommend that you do it. I get so few sales calls, true sales calls. I do get robocalls, and I get people who don't even know who the CEO of my company is. And if they'd gotten my phone number, I'm not sure why they couldn't go the extra mile and look at our About Us page and see that I'm the CEO, or look me up on LinkedIn. So if you will prepare properly, a phone call is absolute gold. Again, lots of training available on how to leave a voicemail for someone that will be returned. There are times of day that are optimal for that, like right after an admin might have gone home, but the executive's still in their office. Maybe they're picking up the phone, maybe they hear your voicemail. Leaving a voicemail that creates intrigue is what you want to do. Now, second is time pressure. Not enough hours in the day and absolutely too much on their plate. So distilling things down, not taking time to show them how to build the watch, but just tell them, we're going to be able to tell time for you and give you an alarm when you need it, right? Now, the last one isn't something we can do a lot about, but it's something that we can ask as a part of the sales process. Is there a reward when you bring an innovative idea or incremental revenue to the table, right? Whether it's a recognition of getting promoted, or you're measured on the actual incremental revenue that you bring in, the more you know about the person you're talking to and how they're rewarded, the better off you'll be. Now, on the activation side, I will tell you, this is something that you don't have to worry about at all. We have this down pat. We have implemented many, many, many different kinds of clients. So what we have built are tools to help you in your initial outreach to the prospect. And again, getting folks to the point. Once again, please put your questions into the community and we will get them answered so that everyone can see them. Thank you. Let's move on to where does the product fit? So there are a lot of places where our smart tools can fit. So you'll hear us use a couple of different brand names. We're working through this right now, but fundamentally, Trip Proximity is the name of the underlying technology. It is patent pending. It's the name of our portal, and the communication with our clients that is generated by the system comes directly from Trip Proximity. So that consists of the tool itself, but the tool actually leads you to our basic brand, which is Traveling to Give. So as I had mentioned earlier, we have a venue tool, an event tool, and an anywhere tool, which is usually used for fundraising, but it has other purposes as well. The tool is mobile ready and it's device responsive. So, and it's also what we call container responsive. So if you put the widget into a 1/3 size column, it will adjust and it will look very much like the mobile version of the portal. If you put it in a full container, it will be the maximum width of that container. If you put it in a half container on a website, it will adjust to that. You do have to sometimes make some adjustments on the image that you use, but again, we will help the client with that in the activation process. So our self-service portal provides the ability for our clients to go in and access and make changes or create new tools at any time of day or night, 7 days a week. They can also view their statistics on the dashboard there. Site placement is probably the most fun thing that I do. And again, if you don't have a good idea of where the product would fit, bring it to me. Let me look at their existing capabilities and I'll give you an example. And like what you see here, we actually do a mock-up of what it looks like on their system. Now, of course, they still have to insert it, but we are a perfect replacement on a website for any map or narrative driving directions. Any corporate website that simply has a contact us page, they can turn that into a visit us page. We can also be integrated into a calendar of events or a list of places or locations or venues. Again, we will show them all of the different recommended placements on their site so that they can see what it looks like and make that decision of how they prioritize their implementation. For our larger clients, we schedule calls 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days after activation. We go over their statistics with them of how the product has been working. If we have any recommendations for them about improving the placement, that happens during that call. We also do quarterly calls for our enterprise clients after that 30, 60, 90-day period. And for all of our accounts, we have a yearly call with them to go over their annual statistics. So we're going to move on to the how much portion of this. How and when do we get paid? How about the client? And when is the donation made? So we have a couple of different models because we've got different kinds of channel partners. If you make the introduction and you are right by our side all the way along to the end, getting the client to yes, making sure that we have the right people on the activation call, we then will take it from there, but you are a part of the process. Your earnings are 10% of the first year's gross revenues from the sale of travel. So if our income is $100, then your income is $10. Very simple. We do give you bonus thresholds to increase the amount of time and also the amount that we pay you, and those are outlined in the channel partner agreement. If you simply want to make introductions and it's up to us to get the call set up with the client and we take it the rest of the way, then we're only going to give you 5% of the first year's revenues. And again, there are still bonus thresholds possible. And again, if you've got a great network of people and you just want to make that intro and they will take the call because you asked them to, that can work as well. So how can you tell what the royalty is going to be? Well, glad you asked that. We have a predictor tool that we built that is available to you and also to the prospect. And this is what we use to size the account. So this is a part of some additional training that we will give you. But once you get into the portal, you can look at the revenue predictor, indicate what kind of client it is, where the people who use their site will be traveling to, because some are just located here in the Americas, some are travel primarily to Europe, some are to Asia, or all three. And once you check that, it does some setting on the back end of what the average daily room rate is in that part of the world. The next is how many visitors do they have to their site each month? Or if it's an event, it will ask you about how many people attend their events. There's some additional things that appear kind of below the fold here. How many will need or want a hotel room? So what percentage of the people coming to that website? And again, we can give you some guidelines of how to fill that out. And then, do they attract the kind of travelers that stay, the average number of nights, which is 1.2? Or if you're selling to Sandler Training and they have mostly 4 and 5 night trainings, then you're going to have a longer average length of stay. So again, we'll train you on how to use this. The things over on the right-hand side are the things that are within our client's control. Where do they place us? How do they promote us? And then it automatically calculates how much we give to charity annually and how much money they make annually. And if you are looking at the publisher opportunity and the systems or tools providers opportunity, then you're going to see the amount that is actually going to be your commission for that sale. Again, paid monthly, but annualized in the predictor. So when does everybody get paid? Well, we get paid within 30 to 60 days following the checkout. The money comes to us in an automatic deposit into our bank account, so there's no accounts receivable, so you don't have to worry about us not getting paid. We then turn around and we pay our sales and channel partners monthly on the 10th of the month following the receipt of commissions by Solutions. I will tell you that there is a $100 minimum at this point. We are looking in the future to be able to do this electronically so that we can do micropayments of any amount. For our for-profit clients, we pay them quarterly unless they get to a certain volume, in which case we will switch to monthly. And for our not-for-profit clients, we do the donation monthly. Again, any questions should go into the community platform under the right section within the topics. Thanks. Next, we're going to go on to talk about our sales enablement tools. And we've got a couple of other tools that we are in the process of working on. So smart messaging, smart content, our smart links product, our revenue predictor product are all a part of the sales package. So as I had mentioned to you, we have designed and built out a product called Smart Messaging. It's actually a product that we could sell to other sales enablement companies. It can be completely customized by category, what the different drivers are for the clients that you sell to. It also allows us to put what the key messages are for each of those. It also allows us to define what the different awareness scales are for the clients. Again, when we get into actually deploying that product for our team, we will walk you through how to utilize that. We're not using that yet. As I had mentioned, our concierge function is something that's integrated into our travel product, but we also have the ability to turn off the travel tabs and have just the concierge tool. And this can help your prospects and your customers find you. It doesn't have to have anything to do with the travel process. Here's an example of a tool that I set up for my husband. His company doesn't have great web marketing. He sells to the waste industry, and when he's in talking to the guy in the stormwater department, he doesn't need to show him all of his different offerings. He can close off the ones that aren't appropriate and just show them what is appropriate. It then links over to the website, but they don't have to worry about how to navigate that website. So also he's got their parts catalog, so if someone needs parts or they want to order nozzles for their vacuum trucks, they can do that. So this product has a lot of options for your prospects, and especially if travel and events aren't happening anytime in the near future. This is something that they can have an intern update, and again, it can be, we can host it for them so that they just have a link to this capability. So again, we call that Smart Navigation, and we also call that our Concierge tab. So we help our clients set that up. So one of the things that we want you to be aware of is that where our clients sit on that awareness scale that we're building into our messaging product is really important. So, this comes from a methodology that I have used in consulting. So what pain are we solving for the customer? What persuades them to buy or sign up with us? And why do people buy our solutions? What can we do better? What are the most common complaints? Are things that you need to think about. But this awareness scale is, are they aware of the fact that people even need to get to them? Because again, that's usually outside of their field of vision. If they're pain aware, they might have a map or they might have driving directions of how to get to them. If they're solution aware and they know that people need a hotel, they might have a list of 10 hotels. But that actually creates more work for the client than it's actually worth. If they're product aware, they might actually embed a Google map on their website, which allows people to find the hotels nearby. But that has a lot of clicks until you get to the place where you can book. If they're very aware, they might actually have one of our competitors' booking widget tools, or maybe they're aware of our product. And so the way that you sell to them changes during that. So again, the predictor, just coming back to that really quickly, the one thing I didn't mention, so if a client is going to yield $346,000 in annual royalty to our client, that's a $3 million client for us. And this shows you an example of what can generate that kind of revenue. So this is a consumer website that has 9.9 million average visitors. They travel primarily within the Americas. 25% might need or want a hotel room with an average length of stay of 1.2 nights, staying in a 3-star hotel. And that would yield, just with 1% of that 25% of the 9.9 million visitors, that would yield $346,000 in a commission to you for that first year, and in ongoing royalties every year for the client. It's gonna vary depending on the actual bookings, but that just gives you an example of the kind of clients that can yield that kind of revenue. So in the deck that I'm going to provide to you are the links to our live sites, our various corporate sites, and then also being able to see the travel results, what our portal looks like, some examples of a client with a web implementation, a client who is on Facebook. We've got bloggers. And then I am going to be putting together also slides for various people that we partner. These are some of our partners that help us do what we do as an early stage company. Ziv is our partner, and they are in the Kansas City area, and Kara Miller is part of our executive team, and she is helping us focus on both our marketing functions and also product development. Likewise, Ava Pasowitz with Causeway is part of our business development team and also assists in product development with her resources from the Polish market. Nancy Lucas is helping us out on our sales strategy, and she helps find the right people, the right tools, and helps us get real results, and you will definitely be getting to know her better. Krista Kersey is helping us in our fundraising efforts. Hotel Planner and InEvent are technology partners that we are adopting some closer links to their products. So you'll be hearing more about that in the coming days so that we can have a stronger position in the event marketplace. And you can go to our portal and put in any questions, and we will get those answered for you. Thank you so much for considering being a channel partner of Solutions. We are very, very excited about onboarding you and helping you get your first deal in the door. Thanks again. Take care. Bravo for making it through the whole presentation. Hopefully you have gotten some of your questions answered, and if you have any additional questions, you have gone into our community portal and written them down. If you haven't, I will give you the instructions of how to do that. So there are a couple of things that you need to do. So let's get started on recapping that. First is registering as a channel partner. We do not require that you sign a contract or a long-term commitment. This has to work for both of us, for it to work for either of us. So we like to try things on for size, and the channel partner agreement gives you that flexibility. So if you will just click on the picture, if you have not yet registered, it's just a very simple registration process. We will then set you up with your own portal account, get you your own referral code so that anybody that you add as your client gets added to the system. And then we want to make sure that you've joined our channel partner community. That is where all of our communication with you will happen. You can also talk to one another. There may be things that you can do together to help grow your core business, or even partnerships that you can do to bring new clients to the table. Then we are going to have a fall kickoff call on Zoom after Labor Day, so keep your eye on the event function within the community. That will let you know when that is. And we look forward to seeing you and to introducing you to our team and seeing how we can get things rolling. Looking forward to doing some business with you. Thanks. If you need to contact me, my direct line is 813-515-4881. My email is chickie@solutions.com, but I will tell you that email is my least preferred mode of communication. Chatting in the community is the absolute fastest way to get a hold of me, and I will provide on the community my cell phone number.
5 o'clock.
Again, primarily for text, although texting me within the community is really the best. So thank you so much, and I am really looking forward to working together. Take care.